wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. 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 Yeah, I just wanna be.
Welcome to the One Pride Podcast, where we talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors, and we got a good one for you today. Why? Because we're talking 53-man roster. Why? We're talking practice squad. Why? Because we are 1 week away from the regular season where the Detroit Lions will open up the NFL season at Arrowhead versus the Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs. And in for today's show, I got my man, Mark Orem. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, what's going on, Mike? What's going on, everybody in the chat? Let's talk some 53.
Let's definitely talk some 53 in this bad boy. We got a lot of folks in the building right now. We got Torque, Josh, Matthew, Detroit fan man, all in the building. We got Robert Corsini. He says, talk now. It's 1 o'clock. Kevin gifted a One Lions Talk by Chat Sports membership. Thank you so much for that gift. You are a awesome real one for that. Josh Prince, Mr. Detroit City. We got a Lone Wolf, Bryce, King, Darwin, I Bid, Lisa in the building. Good one there. Ubaldo, 9 Drinks, my G, Chrome, my G, and Scotty. All up in this bad boy, ready to talk Detroit Lions. So we'll get a little bit into the 53-man roster. I'm sure you guys have heard it 5 million times, so we'll just go through it really quick, and then we'll get into the practice squad, and then obviously we're going to get into Lions and Kansas City Chiefs, where Mark Orem's looking down instead of at the camera, looking like a fool with his pants on the ground, looking like a fool right there. So Mark Orem, initial thoughts of the 53-man roster. You know, what's the good? What's the bad? What is your thoughts?
So far, I like it. You know, they brought some guys back that some people were concerned about. Some fans were concerned about Dylan Drummond. He's back on the practice squad. We brought back Maurice Alexander, who was kind of I got a little bit of a man crush on Maurice Alexander. I think he's a guy that they can get the ball in his hands. I think he can make some plays, but, you know, he's it's a crowded wide receiver room. But he's good depth. He's really solid depth, and he's a good returner. So far, I like it. We brought back Connor Galvin, who I liked during the preseason, one of the highest graded O-linemen. I think he was the highest graded, at least Detroit Lion for the preseason. So I think he played well. If anybody played well, it was him in that depth room. So far, I like it. You know, still a little bit concerned about the running backs. I do like Zonovan Knight, bringing him in. Even though we did control him last year when we played New York, but he did start 4 games for the Jets, and he has a really nice average per carry too for New York. And he's a big kid at 5'11", 210 plus, and he can catch the ball, plays in special teams. So crowded backfield in New York, and I think we got a decent young guy that has a little bit of upside. No shade on Craig Reynolds. I like Craig Reynolds for sure. I think there's maybe even a possibility we bring him back still, but I do like Zonovan Knight. So I'm not upset about really anything so far. I know some people want some other players back, and that's fine, but we're not done yet. So, I think we're going to be working on our 53. Well, Brad Holmes will be working on the 53 with Dan Campbell up until game day. So, yeah, man. Let's go.
Roger Guardo in the building with the $4.99 super chat. Says hashtag FGB. Let's go, fellas. Thank you so much for that super. Roger is always doing that. He's a real one in this bad boy, showing some love. Folks, you need to watch or listen to the huge show, because guess what? I'm on there. I was on there yesterday, West Michigan radio, talking Detroit Lions. So get ready for that. Get a little bit more occurrence going on the huge show It was fun, and I appreciate those guys allowing me to talk some Detroit Lions. I love L.A. Knight, Zonovan Knight. I think that, he reminds me, now I know a lot of people's going to say, oh, no, don't say this because it's a bad experience, but kind of like Amir Abdullah a little bit. Not saying like he's going to be Amir Abdullah, like we're the bad part, but I'm saying he's fast, he can catch out of the backfield, and he's got a really good cut. Like a really, really good cut when he makes his cuts. I was noticing that yesterday, watching this guy, and I'm like, damn, he's got a good cut. So I was really shocked, and it reminded me of Amir Abdullah when he had a sick cut. And he's very patient, and he follows his blockers really, really well. That is something that I love from L.A. Knight. And I think that he's a good player to have on the practice squad, but we still got 2 running backs on the active roster. So guess what? We're still going to be getting a running back. There's no way you're going to go into the NFL season with 2 running backs and 1 Jason Kabinda. So I like that pickup. David Blau is back. Your quarterback that you absolutely love. You're telling me you're going to get his jersey, a David Blau jersey, and thoughts on David Blau to the practice squad.
The big fella, DB, is back. DB is back. David Blau back with the team. Hey, man. He's QB3. Everybody, all jokes aside, he's a guy that knows the system. Familiarity is a big thing with this football team. Is Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. They love that type of player. The guy that's a player that's familiar with the system. So I think everybody does, from all 32 GMs and head coaches. So he played with the Vikings last year. He was with Arizona during preseason. He looked okay. He's quarterback 3. The plan is to never, ever see him on the football field taking a snap during the 2023 season. But, he can be the scout quarterback for this team, until further notice. Like if Hendon Hooker comes back and then they want to release David Blau, it could happen. But you got to put Hooker you can never put Hooker on the practice squad, though. You'd have to put him on the 53. But, I'm not too worried about a guy like David Blau coming in. Like I know we joke about it. We joke about it a lot because it's kind of funny how Holmes just loves to bring back guys. And but yeah, man, he's never going to see the field, and he's a good scout guy, and he's good for the room too. He's a really good guy too. So
King Leo, definitely didn't forget about you in there, but sometimes it's hard to go through it. We got 143 in the building with 30 likes. Let's get to 50 likes, 5-0. It can happen with your help. And I am less than 25 subscribers away from 37,000 subscribers. So if you're one of those guys listening, let's get to 37K. That would be absolutely awesome for sure. Will Harris, so he defended himself yesterday, in which, by the way, folks, I don't think he should get any grief for defending himself. He takes a lot of heat. And every man deserves to defend themselves, even Will Harris. Like, there's no personal vendetta against the guy. It's the play on the field that people have issues with. I mean, he could be a great human being, a totally awesome guy, but, there's individuals that you look at and you wonder a little bit. So what are your thoughts about Will Harris defending himself, on Twitter and kind of tired of getting the slack thrown his way?
Yeah, he's been getting raked through the coals by this fan base pretty good. Most of it deserved. I think most of it deserved. The fans, we're all fans of this football team, but we obviously don't see what they see. Okay, I know Will Harris. He comes out, defends himself, which is cool. He went full Kevin Durant a little bit. I thought, he's trying to explain himself maybe a little bit too much. He was referring to PFF and doing this, and he was just kind of getting in his feelings a little bit. But I do understand it, because he's getting bombed. He's getting destroyed by his fan base. And like I just said, the Holmes, Campbell, Aaron Glenn, the DB coaches, they see something different than we do. And he's good in the room, I guess. He's just a really good guy. He's extremely versatile. That's another thing that Holmes and Campbell love. So I think that's why he's on this football team. We see most of the negative parts of it. Like, we see him getting burned for touchdowns. We see him missing tackles, causing penalties. I don't know. It's just, it's a weird kind of feeling with Will Harris. Like, We don't want him on the team, but we can't do nothing about it. We can't do nothing about we can't do nothing about it. We just, they see something different. What they see, I don't know. I wish I could have a one-on-one conversation behind the scenes with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Just tell me, what do you see that we don't? I'll keep it under wraps. I'll keep it in the back pocket. I won't tell nobody.
It's a video, I swear. It's a video. He's got something on the coaching staff.
I just want to know. That's what everyone says. He's got something on the coaching staff. It's the old Jelani Tavai thing. It's the old, it's like, why is he here? I get it. I don't know. It's strange.
There's always one of these guys throughout Lions history. There's always a player you're just like, what the hell, man?
Who was the last guy, Mike? Who was the last guy a couple of years ago that we used to go through with this?
Oh, I know Never Lawson. A lot of people didn't like Nevin Lawson. Tahir Whitehead was one. Jelani Tavai was definitely one. What's that? Something really recent. That would be Tim Boyle. I mean, he was the guy. So, if they would have signed Tim Boyle to the practice squad, I think there'd have been meltdowns. David Blount's okay, but Tim Boyle's come on. So there's always one of those guys, and there's always going to be like that. It's been going on for forever, and where there's just one of these guys. You know what I'm saying? It's just how do they do it? So name a player in the comment section that you're always who this is one of those guys that you just tired of seeing on the Lions team throughout history, whoever it would be. There's always one, and it's so freaking hilarious for sure. Trey Flowers, yep. Jamie Trey Collins. Flowers. I know Vanden Bosch with the red eyes when he was starting to do nothing. So that was one of those guys. But for sure, there's always been one of those individuals. So let's get into something that's actually important now while people throw the comment section with names who they have not liked. That is Chris Jones looking like he's not going to play, man. And that's a huge deal next week. So Chris Jones, really, really, really good defensive tackle. And it looks like he's not playing against the Lions. What does that mean to you?
Well, it would be huge. It would be huge. I think he's the best defensive player. I think he's the best second defensive tackle in the NFL next to Aaron Donald. 15.5 sacks last year, a slew of tackles. He gets to the quarterback. He gets into the backfield. He causes chaos. I might want to throw a little bit of wrench in this, though, because I did read today, I don't know the name of the Chiefs GM, but he came out with a statement. I don't know if it was on Twix or whatever we're calling it now, Twitter. Somebody reported that they're in heavy conversations with Chris Jones right now, and he seems to think that they're going to be that he's going to be activated by week 1. So they're in contract talks. That's what Chris Jones wants. It's strictly about money, nothing else. And it seems like the Chiefs are either getting close or closer to a contract extension for Chris Jones. So I predicted maybe a week or two ago, I was getting in conversations on Facebook with this. I always thought Chris Jones was going to be playing week 1. I still have a feeling he's going to be, and I think something's going to be done by the end of the week.
I hate your feeling.
I don't see him not playing. I think they don't have any money right now. The Chiefs, they have $4 million in cap, but they'll find money. They always do. Teams always do. That's why they got capologists, professionals who take care of that. So I think he's going to play. I just have a feeling. I'm not going to set my hopes up too high.
I really hope you're incorrect. I really hope you're wrong, Mark, and that would be fantastic. Look, I want to win by all means necessary. It doesn't really matter. And if you guys want to win as well, next Thursday, 1 week from today, Soaring Eagle Casino, myself, Herman Moore, we're going to be doing play-by-play, pre-post-game shows. It's going to be epic live. If you're there for the NFL Draft, it was really fun. We're going to be there again, getting it done for opening game, Lions and KC. I hope he's not playing because that means the Detroit Lions will have an easier job offensively because he's so good. With that said, I still, even though we haven't seen the first-string offense play, I think they're going to put up some yards next week. What is a matchup that you're looking for, Lions and Kansas City, that you believe like is really important for Lions offense versus KC defense?
I want to see how I'm not worried about the offensive line. Even if Chris Jones is playing, he will get his. But Ragnow is in for a good go. But my main concern is, or just the matchup thing that I want, the matchup problem that I want to see solved, or is the wide receivers versus their secondary. I want to see, amon-ra St. Brown, obviously, I think is going to have a good day. I want to see how much protection, so, a little bit of O-line play in there as well. But I want to see guys like the Josh Reynolds. I want to see the Marvin Jones Juniors. We haven't seen really these guys this year, especially Marvin Jones Jr. in preseason. So, and I'm okay with sitting starters, by the way. I know a lot of fans aren't, but I want to see how they handle their secondary. I think it's going to be a matchup problem for them, for the Chiefs, because I think we have a really good wide receiver unit. So I want to see some secondary wide receivers other than amon-ra St. Brown getting there. So protection is going to have to be involved, obviously. But I think we have a pretty good matchup against their secondary. They have a good defense, though. I'm not going to sit there and say they don't. They got good linebackers, good D-line, solid secondary. They were pretty good last year. Obviously, they're Super Bowl champions. So, but I think it's a nice matchup for the Detroit Lions. Their wide receivers versus our wide receivers versus their secondaries.
Can the Lions offense start fast? Everyone talked about they didn't do any sort of work in the preseason. A lot of people concerned about that. Can they start off fast? I'm not too concerned about it. I think the Lions offense will start out fast. I do like the offensive line, and the offensive line, given protection, and they will, is going to be able to get one of these guys open. And I think that, Jared Goff's had plenty of time as a starter for the Lions. He don't need a whole lot of practice in the preseason, and they did a lot of team versus team practices. So it's not like he hasn't done anything. It just was not on TV or on the quote-unquote lights. So I'm not really concerned, but, I want to see them start fast. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I want to see quickly how they use Jahmyr Gibbs against that defense. I think he's going to be used quite a bit, a lot. And it's going to be really, really interesting. It will give you a good indication of how they're going to use them throughout the season, because I think he's going to be a weapon Thursday. I have him as the X-Factor weapon for that game, because nobody really knows what he's going to do. He hasn't really done anything at all in the preseason except for a couple drives, and it was with the bad backup offensive line, and Ben Johnson, he's going to do ninja stuff with him. So I'm really excited to see how they use Jahmyr Gibbs, Mark.
Yeah, I'm super excited about Jahmyr Gibbs, man. You get that 4.3 plus speed out there. I think it's another reason why the Lions might be only carrying five wide receivers into week one, because Jahmyr Gibbs is pretty much used as a weapon, and he's going to be used in the slot. He's going to be used running wide receiver routes. The guy was even running better routes in the combine as a running back, better than a lot of the wide receivers that came out in this 2023 draft. So I think he could be a reason why they might only carry five into this game, and obviously JMO with his suspension kind of hurts, but I think his speed and his catching ability kind of mimics a little bit what JMO does. Not saying Gibbs is going to be going deep every single time, but he's capable of doing it. So, and we love Ben Johnson. We love how he just thinks of plays. He's a very good play caller. So I'm really excited about this offense. I don't think they're going to start off slow either. I know a lot of people, like I said earlier, like I alluded to earlier, and you said it, Mike. I'm okay. I'm okay with the starters sitting. Now we're going to see this kind of surprise. A lot of people are like, oh, no, they're going to be rusty. They're going to be this. They're going to be that. And you said it. They were one of 11 teams, I believe, that had joint practices versus they played the Giants and then they played the Jags. Now that's full hitting. That's scrimmaging. That's full speed. More in a more controlled environment. So, I'm not worried about the rust being shook off. I think they're going to be ready to rock and roll, and I think they're going to give Chiefs problems on offense for sure.
And then we go look to the Lions defense. We get to see the new look players like CJ and Cameron Sutton they're going to get tested immediately for Patrick Mahomes. What is the keys for the Lions defense to at least slow down Patrick Mahomes? Because I know I'm going to see it right now. Fans are going to say this defense still sucks if Patrick Mahomes put yards on us. Folks, Patrick Mahomes puts yards on everybody. Okay, this is just going to happen. It doesn't matter how good the talent is. He's a really good quarterback, and they got a really good offense. So what is a key factor for you when you look at juggernaut offense versus the Lions' new look defense?
Man, like you said, Mike, you can't really stop Patrick Mahomes. You can try to slow him down. And then you add in Travis Kelce, who's 34 years old. Don't get me wrong. He's 34. He's getting up there, but the man can still run great routes. He has probably the best hands in the business at the tight end spot. He's just a baller. It's him and Mahomes. And then you have, a wide receiving core that's not there's no household names there. Tyreek Hill's gone. He's a Miami Dolphin. So you got guys like Marquez Valdes-Scantling. You got Sky Moore, who's young. Kadarius Toney might not be playing, though. They did draft Rashee Rice, Jerry Rice's kid. So, there's not a lot of household names, though, but what they have in that wide receiving core is definitely speed. They got a lot of speed there, and you have to keep those guys in check a little bit right there. Not really too overly concerned about those wide receivers. Don't sleep on them, though, because I can be running routes for those for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes will find me. And I'm 50 years old, and I probably run a 40 of 9.7. So it doesn't really matter. The whole key is you have to somehow slow down Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. This D-line, I think, guys like Hutchinson, Charles Harris, James Houston, Pascal, Kaminsky, if they don't get to Patrick Mahomes, we're in trouble. It's just that simple. You can't have him running around there. You can't have him sitting in the pocket just picking guys off. And then if you do get in there, you got to make sure that you contain him, because he's even more dangerous when he starts playing street ball. He's even more dangerous. So it's like, the best thing you can do is just try to slow down Patrick Mahomes. I think that's the key to him. If you don't hit him, then there's a big problem. And then they have a pretty decent running game, too, in Pacheco, and they got McKinnon over there. They got like 2 or 3 guys that they can just rotate in and out, too, as well. So you got to be really careful with this team. This offense is a juggernaut. We are a brand-new defense, like you said. But guys like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Cameron Sutton, Brian Branch, who's supposed to be, they say, maybe possibly spying Patrick Mahomes, they're in for a hell of a matchup week 1.
We got 257 in the building with 75 likes. 25 more likes will put us to 100, and we will do an ultra combo for sure. That's just a combo breaker, but if you want to get 100, you get the ultra combo. It says Lions have no chance to win the Chiefs game. That is completely false. Any team can win on any given Sunday. Remember, Kansas City, didn't they almost lose to the Houston Texans last year? I mean, it's just like... Yeah. So, that can happen. Any team can have that. And I think the Lions are high quality. They're not a bum team at all. There's a reason why they're playing the first game is the NFL thinks they're good, and because they are good. They're a good football team. I think there's 2 things for me for the Lions defense. One is turnovers. We have a lot of players that can get some turnovers in the secondary. CJ, Kirby, and Brian Branch. I'm looking at these guys to get an interception, get some turnovers to give the football back to the Lions offense. If you can win in the turnover game and CJ can do what he did over there for Philadelphia and Kirby continue his great work that he did there, then I think that will give the Lions an opportunity to absolutely win this game. And the second key for the Lions defense is Lions offense and David Montgomery. Run the football. Keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. Run the football consistently. Run the football. Kill clock, okay? Kill the clock. You keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. That will help the Lions defense immensely. It will, right? Yeah. It's the easiest thing on planet Earth to talk about, but it's hard to do in real life. So if the Lions can just run that football a little bit. It'll keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline and get it done. And like you're saying, pass rush for sure. Absolute pass rush. And who's guarding Kelsey? Who is going to be put on Kelsey? Could that be a situation where CJ, Bryant Branch? Could that be a Jack Campbell? That's going to be fun because if you can slow him down, that does hurt their offense significantly because Patrick's always looking towards him. So that's what I got for keys on defense. Let's get into prediction. Everybody in the comment section, give your prediction. Who wins? Score prediction. 6 likes away from 100. Then we'll go to QA for you guys where you run the show. You do a hashtag Lions, and guess what? We will answer your questions. Mike, welcome. Says welcomes all opinions. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. So for my prediction, I'll go first here. I have the Lions winning this game 32-28. Winning this game, doing a big-time shocker. Everybody thinks it. I just think with what they have going on right now, and they've been preparing for this team, Kansas City doesn't know what they got against the Lions offense and Ben Johnson. I got the Lions winning 32-28. What do you have, Mark Orem?
And man, I want to pick Detroit so bad, but they were playing any other team in the NFL, I would definitely pick Detroit. I can't do it right now. Going to Arrowhead, facing Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the NFL, got the best head coach and Andy Reid, best tight end. It scares me a bit. I think it's going to be a dogfight though, but I'm taking the Chiefs 31-27. I think it's going to be a hell of a game though. I think it's just a matchup right now that they're going to have problems with, but they're going to have some success as well. I think there's a chance because I have the score so close. I'm not going to say there's no chance for the Lions. I do think they have a chance. They just, like you said, Mike, we need some turnovers. They get some key turnovers. I might change my mind, but I can't do it right now. Not week one. I feel they are in over their head just a little bit going to Arrowhead. And hey, if they win this game, that's even more fantastic. I'll be throwing around the Super Bowl banner for sure, but I just don't think they're going to win this game. I just have
You guys did it. 100 likes. You got the Ultra Combo in this bad boy. You know I love Killer Instinct. Ultra Combo Breaker. Thank you so much for getting to 100 likes. You guys are the realest in the building. We got predictions in the comment section. We got 34-21 Lions by 14. Kansas City wins a close one from Joseph Buck, 28-24. Lions 37-31, 42-35 KC, 42-17 Nine Drinks, 34-30 Paul, 31-17 Leos by 3 Weston. They're Lions 34, Lions 35. A lot of wins for Detroit, so the Lions fans are feeling it for sure. And look, I'm not a homer type of guy. So, like, if you've been watching me for a while, I generally don't. But I just got this feeling. It's like I think they can do it and pull off a big upset. And the NFL world will be on fire talking about Detroit all the way till Sunday. So that's what I got going on there. Folks, if you got questions, throw it in the comment section. If I miss it, in which I'm going to because there's 390 of you in the building, you just copy, paste it, okay? So just do that. I'll see it eventually. Don't get mad that I missed it. I'm not being a prick. I get it all the time. Mike, you're ignoring me. It's not ignoring you. The cue I have goes, brrrah. So it's like I click it, I'm going to miss it. It's just the way that it is. If you could see my end, you would then understand, and I would never hear that. So that's what it's going to be. It says Chiefs going to have a hangover for the Super Bowl. I don't know, but the AFC is tough. Like, it's tough over there. So I don't know if they're going to hang over. I think they're just so well coached and such a good team that I don't know they're going to have no hangover, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll definitely see. So hopefully they have a hangover on week 1. That's all I'm looking for. Hangover on week 1. Sean says, I feel so ignored. Well, not right now. You just been put on here. That's what it's all about. Let's see. What do you think about what? Go ahead, Mark.
No, I said, what's going on, Sean? I just said hi to him.
Okay.
That's all.
Let's see. What do you think about Set picking up Jacob Harris released by the LA Rams?
Big
I don't
wide
know.
receiver? Wide receiver?
Yeah, I
Is
don't
that what
know. I like if they're gonna pick up the scraps for wide receiver, I'm fine with our own personal scraps. If they want to upgrade wide receiver, it'd probably be via trade. But if that maybe it just happens for the trade deadline or something like that. But it is what it is. If the Chiefs win, big deal. But if we win, it's a hurricane. It's a tsunami. If the Lions win, it's like really really good. Can you get Adam on after the first game?
Where is that guy, by the way? Where's that guy been?
Can I? Well, just gonna have to see and wait. Patiently waiting. Okay, just think about the song with Eminem and 50 Cent, Patiently Waiting. That's what's going on right there. Don't worry. Be happy. Patiently waiting. Listen to that song, and then you know about the Adam and me. Let's hear. The secondary looks better, and I think that will show. I'm a bit worried about them defending the run. What are your guys' thoughts on improvement on that this year? Stopping the run. That's intriguing. I think it's going to be improved because the linebacker room is improved. Jack Campbell's really good at tackling. I think that's going to help. And Derek Barnes' improvement is going to help. I think that helps stop the run much better as the play of the linebackers. Don't really know what Levi's going to bring on the interior, and how much he's going to be used. Yeah. But I'm going to go with, I think it's improved because the linebackers improved.
Yeah, we're expecting a jump from guys like Aleem McNeil, too, as well. They did draft Broderick Martin in the third round, a massive nose tackle. So, and Jack Campbell was fantastic against the run in Iowa. So that should help a little bit. And then don't forget about guys like Brian Branch, who barely missed a tackle in his 3-4 year career at Alabama. And he plays like a linebacker at safety. So I think the run defense is going to get a lot better.
A lot better. And I truly do believe that. Lions Kool-Aid, hashtag Lions. How much better do you think the defense is going to be from last year? I think it's going to be night and day. I think it is going to be night and day. I was hoping from an improvement from 32 to 16. Mm-hmm. After what I saw in preseason and the rotation, they got the defensive line and how well the linebackers played and how well Brian Branch looks. And we don't even know what CJ and Cam's going to bring. I think they could be top 10 defense. And that's saying a lot. After watching the preseason and just look how cohesive the unit is with a bunch of backups and just the rotation that they have, I was impressed. I was impressed with Campbell. I was impressed with the new guys that they're on this team, and I think the defense can take even a bigger jump. What do you think?
I'm agreeing, Mike. I think after, from years past, we've seen, from all the training camps, from all the beat writers, where that the offense were just kind of manhandling the defense during training camp. It's been a different story this year. We're seeing that the defense has won many days. They've won many days in training camp, making the offense struggle. The offense is not really just taking care of business like they normally have. There's a top 5 unit last year with that offense. And they, our defense this year, this brand new defense that they implemented with the brand new players, has been making some noise. So, guys like Branch, CJ Garner-Johnson, Cam Sutton, all the guys that we named earlier are going to make a difference on this defense. So I'm thinking from and you have to go from last year too. They were a top 15 unit winning those 8 out of 10 games last year. It took a couple moves, couple firings, and then they played really well. So I expect from 32 to I'm thinking top 15 to top 20. They should make that significant of a jump. And if they don't, there's problems.
If they are not top 20, there's a legit issue with Aaron Glenn at that point. You can't just say it's the roster.
You can't.
I don't think they're going to be that bad, but that would be the conversation. And please do not rip on the defense after week 1. You're going against the juggernaut offense.
You know what's coming.
It's going to, they're going to get lit. Why? Because it's the one of the best offense in football. Hashtag Ball Brigade. What result would you make disappointed next week? How much do they have to lose by or how little they score? Oh, look, if we lose by more than 10 points, I'm kind of pissed off. Okay? If it's going to be something like that, I'm going to be angry because if you're trying to be one of the best teams in football, you can't lose by double-digit points. That would make me mad. If we lose Anything from 10 beyond that, I'm like, okay, what is going on here? There's some real problems, and that's not good. It's looking pretty easy for KC. What about you, Mark?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I just don't want to see them get blown out. I'm not saying that we don't have a chance. Again, I'm not doing that. I know there's guys on the radio, man, saying that, oh, you can't just be that guy that says, oh, I just don't want them to lose by, 15 or 16 points. It's not that. It's not that whatsoever. I'm just hoping they don't get blown out. Play them tough. Give them a chance. Give your boys a chance to win this football game. And then we'll go from there. I just don't see them getting blown out, though. I think they're going to dogfight this team to the end, and it's going to come down to either a field goal, maybe 2 field goals. So, that's exactly what I think they need to do. Just don't get blown out, but give yourself a chance to win the football game. That's it.
Also would be really disappointed if we lose by a last-second field goal. That would be extremely disappointing, whether it be on offense whether it be our special teams or their special teams. That Justin Tucker game just freaking took my soul out. And I don't think I want to see something like that again. Those are the worst. Those are the absolute worst. #Woot. Think Mosley will dress for week 1. I'm thinking not. I don't think he dresses week 1, but you don't know. It's just a really good sign that he's on the active roster. But I'm going to go with not because he hasn't practiced really at all yet. And you think that maybe they trust Jerry Jacobs a little bit more now since he's been practicing. But I don't know. Maybe he does. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance he doesn't dress as well. He just got activated off the pup. And, we're not losing him for 4 weeks if that would have happened, if he would have stayed on there. So, like Mike said, he hasn't practiced, so I don't really see him dressing. And if he does, he'd be extremely limited if he does play, if he is dressed, if he's full bore, ready to go. But I think he's super, super close, it seems like. So, obviously, they wouldn't have taken him off the pup if he wasn't close.
#FGB, what do sleeper team do you think that will make the playoffs this year? Ooh, sleeper teams. I'll go with New Orleans Saints. I think they're a team that could be a sleeper team and make the playoffs. So I'll go with New Orleans. I like what Derek Carr is doing over there. For the AFC, man, I don't know if there's like every team seems to be good over there. I don't know. We'll go with LA Chargers. I'll just throw out a team out there because everyone's talking about the Jets and the Miami Dolphins and the Bills and the Patriots. So I'll just go with that team. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, they kind of in the AFC. I am going to say the Jets. I think they're a top 5. They were a top 5 defensive unit last year. I think they were a couple pieces away. They brought in Aaron Rodgers to bolster that offense, and I think they make the playoffs. I think they have a good chance to even win the AFC East. It's going to be tougher, though, with still Buffalo around. Miami's always a little bit good, too. So I think the Jets. In the NFC, I think I want to say the Falcons because I think they have a pretty good defense. I think they're still a quarterback away, though. But they do have some really good weapons. They drafted Bijan Robinson. They still got Kyle Pitts, who had a down year last year. I expect them to bounce back. Drake London. I think they're a big sleeper, though. I just don't like their quarterback situation. But I'll just take the Falcons just because I don't think a lot of people have.
Jonathan Anton, are we going to run the ball 60% of the time to exploit their defensive line? I don't think they're going to run the ball that much. I think it's probably 50-50. I truly do. Now, I think they could be using Jahmyr Gibbs a lot in the past game, so it kind of look like that. Maybe they'll do some wide receiver screens. They'll kind of make it look like that, but I still think they're going to pass the ball, 50% of the time. I think they will. What do you got, Mark?
I think, like Mike said earlier, like he alluded to earlier, he said, to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, you're going to have to run the football. And if they're running the football at a success rate, you might see them running the ball 60% of the time, a 60-40 split. I think we're still based on running the ball. I think that's what they really want to do here. You bring in a guy like Montgomery, who has a really high missed tackle rate, and he's actually a very, very underrated running back. And then you got Gibbs. Even those short area passes is kind of a running game in itself.
Yeah, kind of like a de
ball
facto.
off the guys like Gibbs and Laporta. So, yeah, man, I think they're going to run the ball. Maybe not at a 65 clip, but I can see 60% if it's working for sure.
Any trades that are going to happen to today before the season started? Oh man, for our football team, if there's a trade, it would be a low end type of trade. I don't think so. I'm not seeing it right now. And I seen someone ask about the Mike Evans thing. What Speakeasy was saying from Woodward Sports is they kind of maybe pushed down to the trade deadline, but they were definitely talking. So that's all we got on that right now. So they may just wait. Maybe the Buccaneers are waiting to see if they actually are crud. And if the Lions are going to wait for their crud, then they can get a little bit of a discount when teams are selling. So that's a very possible situation right there. But do I see – it probably would have happened already if they wanted to trade, let's be honest. You got a week going until the season, and now they're pretty much locked on for whoever they want to get. Hashtag Mike, you think our deed – will be improved? I think he's talking about defense will be improved this year because I'm hoping for a strong D.
Strong D.
Man,
I'm giving her a D, man, a strong D. I'm giving her a D, man, a strong D.
We got to have that strong D, and that's hashtag facts. I do think our defense is going to be much improved, much improved.
Has to be.
It's going to be it's faster, stronger, better tackling, and more turnovers. I think that's what, and it looks sound. Even with the backup players, you look at these guys, and the communication was sound. They are all doing their part, and that's difficult to do until we got to like the third and fourth strings. But who really cares at that point? But I think it's going to be much improved. It better be. But again, I'm going to keep saying this: don't rip on them if they get 30-some points thrown on them versus Kansas City. Kansas City does that to everybody. It's just you got to go team by team here.
It doesn't get any better week 2 either.
Yeah, you're going against the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll wait a little bit to kind of really see how the defense is, and don't say, oh, we got to fire everybody right now. He's got to go after the Kansas City puts up some points on us. So that's just the most. Brian Branch got me excited. He's got everybody excited. He's got everybody excited on here. 100%. Don't forget the game day. That's right, Grandizer. I will be live on game day. Soaring Eagle Casino doing play-by-play. It's going to be freaking epic. Herm will be there. Pre- and post-game show talking Detroit Lions. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. What happened to Adam? Everybody asks me about this. What happened to Adam? Well, I can't really talk about it. He asked me not to say anything, but guess what? You'll find out at some point, right? That's all I can say about that. Let's see here. That hit laid in New York gave me a hard run. It gave him a run right there. For sure. If you got questions, put it in the comment section. Do you guys actually think we'll win? Yeah, I have the Lions winning the game, 32-28. I think the Lions can win. Well, look, guys, they're not unbeatable. Kansas City was not undefeated last year. Yeah. Okay, I think the Lions have a legit shot to win. So, yeah, I got them winning this game, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough. Mark disagrees. He thinks we'll take a little bit of the L. But, Mark, you can explain yourself. Well, they're a good team.
Yeah, I think KC's a good team. Obviously, they're Super Bowl champions. We're going up against some of the best guys in the NFL at the position with Mahomes and Kelsey. Andy Reid will have those boys ready. Arrowhead is a dangerous place to go play at week 1. There's going to be rust regardless whether they played whether or not during preseason. I think they'll be feeling each other out, but I just think it's a tough matchup week 1. I think we have a shot, but I'm giving us about a 40% shot.
That's a good shot.
I think we have a shot. Right? I think we really do. Some things are going to have to go our way, obviously, just like every game in the NFL is. But we're going to have to make cause some turnovers. Kicking field goals will not win you this football game. So it's going to be a tough go for the Lions. And like I said, I would pick if there was 31 other teams going into Arrowhead on week 1, I would pick the Kansas City Chiefs. It's nothing against Detroit. I just think it's a tough matchup for our Detroit Lions. That's it.
Now, imagine if the Lions win. If you're at Ford Field on week 2, do you think it's going to be loud? It would be the loudest of all time.
Yeah.
It would be. What's that?
I'm going to be there week 3.
If the Lions beat Kansas City, you better get some earplugs next week following that with Seattle in town, because that we seen in preseason how loud they are. That Honolulu Blue and Kool-Aid would be on fire. That stuff would be holy God. It would be going to a hibachi and they put the fire on drinks instead of putting it on the food. That's what it would be right there. Do you think not playing the starters in preseason affects our season start? No, I really don't. Again, they were doing a lot of practices with other teams, joint practices, and I think that's the kind of the same thing as preseason. Let's be honest, you're just not seeing it on TV. So I really don't. I'm not too concerned about it. Would I like to see at least one drive for Jared Goff? Yeah, I would like to have seen one drive for Jared Goff, not for the slow start, but because I wanted to see the starting offensive line. You're as a fan, you want to see your players. So, that was just more of a personal preference. So I think they're slow, probably not. No. When will you get hotness on your show, Danny or Gabby? Well, Danny works for the Detroit Lions. So the odds of me getting somebody on here that works for the Detroit Lions is quite difficult. It's like trying to get a Tim 20 man, because let's be honest here. I like to do strong Ds and all sorts of weird stuff. So maybe the Lions organization's not a big fan of that type of stuff.
I'm giving her a D, man, a strong D.
Yeah.
So just one of those deals. One of those deals. So let's see. #Lions, let us push Panay on the passing game to throw them off. Hey, we did that before. Do you think that Panay gets do you think that he gets a pass this season, any game this season, Mark?
I think there's always a possibility. He's super athletic. It worked really well. He's got good hands. He's got those big mittens. For hands he can catch. Why not, man? If it could, goal line situation and red zone stuff, first down, yeah, why not, man? It worked before. Why not try it again?
For sure. Let's see. Everyone's talking about I'm just saying to get pine sap out of Jameson, Gibbs, and Laporta. Stop the drop virus. Yeah, Laporta dropped in preseason, so I want to see him make some couple of catches, and you're correct. I would really, really like to see that. I'm not worried about Jahmyr Gibbs at all. And Jameson Williams, you're going to have to wait a couple weeks. You're going to have to wait till week 7. But you're right. I don't want to see drops from Laporta next week. I don't want to see drops. No drop. You can't drop versus KC. Okay? You make self mistakes, you lose this game. You can't do that versus Super Bowl champions. You've got to be a freaking well-oiled machine going to Arrowhead. It's not just playing them. You're at there, and it's opening game from them winning the Super Bowl last year. So their crowd is going to be freaking obnoxious.
Everybody's watching, too.
The whole world. It's the second most watched game in the NFL season next to the Super Bowl. It's right there because everybody's really excited for the starting game of the year. So, yeah, everybody's watching. Laporta, get rid of the dropsies. #Lions, losing the Chiefs games is better for us in the long run, don't you think? No. Losing is never good in the long run. You win, and that's going to put confidence upon your players and your staff like never before. If you go to Arrowhead and you beat Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes on opening night, you don't think that puts confidence in your coaching staff and players? Right. Holy crap. I mean, that crap talking from C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Jerry Jacobs is going to be on tenfold.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy for us to sit here and predict stuff, but I'll tell you right now, the Detroit Lions are not thinking that, if we lose this game, oh, well, guys, there's no way they have that mentality. They're going in there, and they're thinking they're going to win that football game, and that's how you have to play the game. Every sport you ever play, no matter how much of an underdog you are, you have to have that mentality anyways. But I don't understand how you say it's better in the long run. I don't really get that. I don't think if they lose this football game, it's going to put them in a turtle shell, and they're done for the season. They're 0-1.
No.
But if they win that game, my God, the confidence level will be through the roof. Not only for us as a fan base, but for that team, for the Detroit Lions. Right, Mike?
Yeah, like it's for the organization, it's for leadership, it's for the fans, it's confidence building. That's why everybody's talking about the Lions, because we went 8 out of 10. Like, the confidence was built and the people were buying in. If you talk to the players, Jared Goff and everybody else that's been talking all offseason, they're like, when we beat the Green Bay Packers to start that streak, that's where their confidence is like, we can do this. And so when you have that ability to win these games, it's like, okay, we can do this. And so if you go into one of the biggest games ever in Lions history and you defeat them, that is an insane confidence boost.
Oh.
Like, I can't even, like, you literally just beat the Super Bowl champions, who a lot of people are predicting are going to go to the Super Bowl again. And if you beat them, you know what they're going to say? This could be a Super Bowl preview. That's what they'll be saying. You go and beat Kansas City, this is a preview of the Super Bowl. This could be the first game of the year and the very last game of the year. And so that the Kool-Aid and all the haters, too, all these fans that hate the Detroit Lions, they'll be shutting up. And so it's something that everybody needs in Detroit. Like, it would be huge. It would be huge. And like you said, they're not going in there saying, oh, I hope we can stay with them. No, we're going in there, we're going to beat them. That's their mentality, and it better be their mentality. Yeah, I want to see that. Yeah, I want to see confidence. We used to be that way, right? A timid team. Like, oh, I think we can. No. We can and we will. We're going to do it. Nobody thought the Lions would beat Green Bay in Green Bay last year. Everybody was saying Green Bay going to the playoffs. Here comes Aaron Rodgers. He's going to go in there, go to the Super Bowl, and then we beat him. Like, so that's what you want to have happen. How often are we going to double team Travis Kelce? I don't think a lot, man. I really do think they do a lot of man the way they operate. Some of the times maybe on third downs. But I'm not seeing, like, a lot there, Mark. I don't. They are so, like, Aaron Glenn is so kind of stuck in his ways.
It's going to be interesting how they cover him. You know, Anzalone was our best coverage linebacker last year. You know, they did draft Jack Campbell, who was actually a very, very underrated coverage linebacker at Iowa. He actually improved every single year he was there. So I think that's maybe a little bit too big of an assignment for Jack Campbell week one, you know, but he is a massive kid. He's got the length. He's got the size to do it. Just don't know if he can run with him. So, you know, you might see C.J. Gardner-Johnson over the top, kind of, you know, creeping around Travis. You might see guys like Kirby Joseph. You know, he's not as big as Travis, obviously, but you're going to see guys like that kind of helping out, looking where Travis is, because you have to, because he's the best tight end in the business. And, but just be careful. You can't do it a lot, because if you leave those wide receivers, even though they're not household names, you leave those guys open, Patrick Mahomes will find them, because they got really good speed.
Do you think the NFL is scripted? Like the WWE? No. You can't script players on the field doing their best to try to win a game. Can there be influenced? Yes. We're talking like referees, individual people, or if you're having like a general manager whom, like I think it was the Miami Dolphins that would pay their former head coach $100,000 to lose a game. I think you can have that to where, you know, they intentionally try to tank, pulling out your starters. We've seen that with Jalen Hurts a couple years ago with their former coach. They pulled him when I forgot what team they were playing. I think there's situations where that can happen, but scripted, no way. Like, it's impossible to do that. Yeah, if they were scripted, do you know how bad they would get sued from the gambling stuff that's going on? They would be taken to Congress, and people would be thrown in prison. Okay, so scripted, no. There could be bad referees and stuff like that? Yes, there absolutely can be.
Yeah, they're definitely scripted. It's just there's too many people to get on. There's too many people to actually do this, to make it scripted. Like, you got to get everybody on board to actually script this. It's just you know what I mean. Like Mike said, there's bad referees. Maybe there's. I do believe that there's some teams that are coddled.
Yep,
I
100%.
believe
Yep.
that there's teams that are called like the Cowboys, the Patriots over the years.
Packers when they had Karen.
Packers,
Yep.
players like Rodgers, Tom Brady.
Yep.
I do believe that.
100%.
I do believe that, but I don't think you can get everybody on board to have it like WWE scripted, where we need to see Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Like I don't believe that because there's too many people.
Yeah, I definitely think there could be influence like that. But scripted, no. It's not like they're going off a script. Okay, I got to do this. Oh, screw it. We're gonna intentionally, and players they're not gonna intentionally lose a game. Like it's really difficult with competitors to have that, and same with coaches, whom their job pretty much depends on it. So. And wins and losses. Like, these players, they don't got that much time in the National Football League. Majority is 3 years. So intentionally trying to hurt themselves or lose, it just seems extremely unlikely. Like, I mean, astronomically unlikely. I do not believe that. Is there bad influence? Yeah. Could there be rogue referees? We've seen it 100 times, picking up the freaking flag from Pettigrew. We've seen it.
Yep.
No touchdown for Golden Tate. No touchdown for Calvin Johnson. We've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's rogue type of stuff right there, and it makes us mad. And their refusal to get better at referees pisses me off. I've been saying this for freaking ever.
Yeah, they need to make those guys full-time guys, but they just don't. They just don't make them full-timers anymore. I don't think they're full-timers, right? So, gotta get better there.
Yeah, 100%. And so I fully believe in that. So if you're asking me on that, there's 100%. Folks, we've been on for about an hour, and it's about time to get off and call it a day. Mark, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Mark Orum's Forum on YouTube. Try to do Detroit Lions videos as much as I can. They're going to start coming out more now that the season was right around the corner. I do a podcast called Orum's Den. I mostly do it solo. It's kind of almost like a therapy for me. And I love talking to Detroit Lions with everybody in the chat. We have a good time. They go pretty long, most of them. And you can find me on Orum's Den right there. Just go to Orum's Forum. Hit me up. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
With that said, folks, what do I got to say? Adios.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be